Deep beneath the ancient city of Rome lies a vast underground realm, a true underworld that few modern explorers have seen and lived to tell the tale. Intrepid archaeologist Lucian believed he had found a map detailing hidden crypts and catacombs stretching for miles, untouched for centuries. Defying the authorities, he assembled a team to venture into the bowels of the earth where no light shone. Climbing through a small unmarked grate in a desolate alley, they descended into Stygian blackness armed with torchlight. The tunnels were larger than any above-ground ruins, seeming to have been hewn directly from bedrock. As they delved deeper, coming across burial niches stacked to the ceilings containing skeletal remains in various states of decay, Lucian's excitement grew. These catacombs were on an enormous scale, clearly not merely a resting place for Rome's dead, but some massive complex whose true purpose was eluding him. It wasn't long before signs of something sinister began cropping up. Strange etchings were found carved into the ancient stone, depicting scenes of unspeakable acts that chilled the team to their core. The torchlight also revealed not all of bones were merely disembodied. Some full or partial skeletons were found in disturbing positions that spoke of agonizing demises. That's when the sound started, disembodied noises that seemed to whisper just beyond the threshold of hearing. Lucian pressed on, convincing his shaken colleagues it was just the settling of old foundations, but a sense of being watched now pervaded the Stygian tunnels. One by one, his team began to disappear, dragging sounds and cut-off screams echoing down the seemingly endless passageways. Now alone in the pressing dark, Lucian broke into a panic-fueled sprint, desperately trying to retrace their path. But he had well and truly lost himself in the labyrinthine corridors of the underworld, lost in the seeming endless catacombs beneath Rome. Lucian ran blindly, clutching his guttering torch. The noises behind him grew louder, as if some massive thing was gaining with unnatural speed. He skidded around a corner and smashed face first into a solid surface. His torch fell and went out, leaving him in absolute darkness. Fumbling at the cool stone, Lucian realized with mounting terror it was a bricked-up wall. He was trapped. The sounds halted just beyond the edge of light. Heavy, ragged breathing and the scrape of talons on stone surrounded him. Whispers in a long dead tongue slithered through the crypt, carrying syllables that seared his mind. As Lucian slid despairing to the floor of bones, a glint caught his eye, a shard of steel jutting from a flensed femur. Snatching it up, he brandished the primitive weapon uselessly into the void. Then twin orbs ignited in the blackness mere feet away. The thing cocked its nightmarish head, sizing up the quivering man like a butcher choosing steak. With a shriek that curdled Lucian's blood, it sprang and froze midair. A sound rang out, echoing down the ancient tunnels. A lantern beam fell upon the creature. It was no mutant, but robed figures bearing obsidian daggers, chasing the thrashing thing into the darkness. They melted back into the catacombs as swiftly. Lucian scrambled to his feet, racing after the fading light in a mania. Through twisting catacombs he followed, desperate to uncover the mysteries of this hellish underworld before being lost in its bone-strewn depths forever. Lucian ran blindly through the ominous catacombs, following faint whispers of the lantern light that had saved him moments before. As he turned another corner, a glow up ahead stopped him dead in his tracks. A massive chamber opened before him, its vaulted ceilings disappearing into the utter blackness high above. Stacked from floor to unseen ceiling were human remains in their thousands, arranged in obscure geometric patterns. But most horrifying of all was what occupied the very center. A gigantic stone altar stood adorned with occult symbols Lucian could not comprehend, and atop it, the robed figures he'd seen were gathered around some twisted ritual. One held the lantern high as two others worked over a writhing, half-formed horror, some unholy blend of man and beast. As if sensing his gaze, the robed acolytes turned as one, faces hidden behind crow-feather masks. They advanced towards Lucian with unnatural speed and grace, obsidian daggers glinting eagerly in the lantern light. Paralyzed by fear, Lucian could only watch as death closed in. But before the dagger fell, a deafening boom shook dust from the vaults above. Gunfire, someone or something was battling the creature from the ritual above. Seizing his chance, Lucian bolted blindly past the robed figures as ancient arches and columns began collapsing all around, chased by gibbering horrors and an entire underground empire crumbling behind. He clawed desperately towards the faintest hope of salvation above. Lucian crawled and climbed over the detritus of collapsed tunnels, following flickers of light ahead that promised escape from this subterranean hell. Behind him, inhuman cries and the rumble of cave-ins echoed, as if the wrath of ages had been awakened in the catacombs. Emerging into a half-fallen mausoleum amidst a foggy graveyard, Lucian beheld an apocalyptic scene. Figures in gas masks and clerical robes dueled fiercely with robed acolytes wielding obsidian-stained daggers. Ancient rifles barked as hellish chanting rent the misty air. A masked commando espied Lucian and ushered him into an armored car idling amidst the crumbling tombs. "You're lucky we realized some archaeological idiots might be trapped down there," she shouted over the chaos. "Gotta demolish the whole site before that evil spreads further." As they sped away, explosions thunderously collapsed the mausoleum and every crypt entrance around it. Lucian watched the graveyard sink into the earth, hoping its malefic secrets would stay buried forever. Yet he sensed darkness only hibernating, ready to stir again if its works were not utterly destroyed. 2 years later, strange rumors began circulating about mysterious plagues and disappearances in the ruins of the ancient graveyard. Despite authorities dismissing them, a gnawing feeling drew Lucian back to investigate. Armed with relics from the clashes below, he alone knew the evils that may yet lie slumbering, waiting to be reawakened by unwary or malevolent hands. The secrets of that netherworld called to him still, for better or worse. His long vigil in the shadows had only just begun. The siren call of the hidden underworld drew Lucian ever closer as the rumors from the graveyard grew more ominous, wrapping charms and relics from its depths around himself for whatever meager protection they offered. He descended once more into that realm of aged nightmares. What he found chilled him to his bones. Though the mausoleum had collapsed, sealing off the main tunnels below, other fissures and shafts clearly delved even deeper into the bowels of the ancient city. Light from his lantern revealed scraps of tattered robes and signs of excavation too methodical to be natural erosion. Someone or something was down here and had been for some time. Claw marks scarred the crumbling walls and strange chants echoed distantly through the shifting stones. Lucian pressed on in a cold sweat, drawn by morbid curiosity and duty to complete what the demolition had only begun. Deeper and deeper into the rotting bedrock, he picked his trembling way, until a glow up ahead stopped him cold. Voices whispered in fell tongues as a scene of blasphemous wizardry came into view. Cowled figures in deathly pale skin chanted over a massive crawling form, patching its misshapen flesh with pilfered human remains. They had found a way to rebuild their petrified god piece by piece, reviving the ancient horrors. Lucian fumbled for a talisman, but it was too late. Foul eyes locked with his, and a muffled scream died in his throat as claws encircled his neck from the darkness. A new nightmare had only just begun in the unseen places beneath the earth. Evil never truly dies, only waits for those black of heart to rouse it once more.